John, Jay and Jake were the best of friends. They loved adventure. Hiking was their thing. This time they chose Blackridge Forest. It was infamous. People had gone missing. But the trio remained undeterred. They were ready for a challenge. John as John. "This is going to be awesome," John exclaimed, adjusting his backpack. Jay as Jay. "Totally! Blackridge, here we come." Jake, though, felt a shiver run down his spine. He couldn't shake off a feeling of unease, but he kept it to himself. He didn't want to appear scared, not in front of his fearless friends. The night before the trip, Jake stumbled upon an old article. It was about Blackridge Forest. The headline sent chills down his spine. It spoke of unexplained disappearances, people vanishing without a trace. The article mentioned a faceless old lady. Some hikers claimed to have seen her right before they disappeared. Jake's blood ran cold. He wanted to back out. This was not just a hike, it was a death trap. Jake tried to reason with John and Jay. Jake as Jake. "Guys, I'm having second thoughts." He showed them the article. Jake as Jake. "This place is dangerous. People have died here," John scoffed. John as John. "Those are just stories, Jake." "Urban legends," Jay added. Jay as Jay. "Don't be such a scaredy cat." Jake wanted to scream. Didn't they understand this was real? But their enthusiasm was infectious. He found himself giving in. They set up camp as the sun began to set. The forest grew darker. The shadows seemed to twist and turn. Jake felt a knot in his stomach. He couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Jake as Jake. "What was that?" Jake whispered, hearing a rustle in the bushes. John as John. "Relax, Jake, it's just the wind." John chuckled. Jay as Jay. "Yeah, chill out, man, enjoy the night." But Jake couldn't relax. He felt a presence. Something cold and evil lurked nearby. He just knew it. Jake called out, his voice filled with worry. Jay laughed. "S3, be careful, narrator." Later that night, Jay needed firewood. He grabbed a flashlight and ventured into the darkness.
"I'll be back in a jiffy."
But he didn't come back. Time seemed to crawl by. The silence was deafening. Then a blood-curdling scream pierced the night. It was Jay. John grabbed his flashlight. Jake clung to John's arm. "S1, stay here, Jake."
"No, I'm coming too."
They followed the direction of the scream. Fear propelled them forward. The forest was alive with strange noises. Every creak and groan sent shivers down their spines.
"Jay, where are you?"
Only silence answered them. The forest held its breath. It was as if the woods themselves were swallowing them whole. Then they saw her. In the distance, a figure stood bathed in the pale moonlight. An old lady. Her back was to them. She wore a long black dress, but her head was just a blur. The figure turned. It had no face, just smooth, blank skin. John gasped. He stumbled back, tripping over a root. "S1! Jay!" John called out, his voice trembling. He took a step closer.
John let out a strangled cry, then silence. Narrator. Jake screamed. He couldn't breathe. He couldn't move. He watched in horror as the faceless lady glided towards John. John scrambled back, but it was too late. The lady reached out. Her touch was ice cold.
Jake knew he had to run. He turned and fled. He didn't look back. He ran until his lungs burned and his legs screamed for mercy. Jake burst out of the forest's edge. He collapsed on the ground, gasping for air. The rising sun painted the sky with hues of orange and pink.
But the beauty of the dawn couldn't erase the horror he had witnessed. The faceless lady, John's scream. It was seared into his memory.
Jake never went hiking again. He couldn't even look at a forest without feeling a surge of terror. He was a changed person, haunted by the experience. Blackridge Forest kept its secrets. The faceless lady remained a horrifying mystery. But the forest itself seemed to whisper a warning. A silent scream carried on the wind. Never forget.